Hello, everybody. Welcome to another video on writing web applications using the Phoenix Web Framework and Elixir. In our previous video, which was quite a while ago, we were exploring how to write messages, how to show messages to your users. Now we are going to see what's going on with that instruction. Okay, Elixir. Okay, let's write some hello. And we were writing something like this. We put hello. No prerequisites for these videos, for this series. That's how you. There is a playlist associated with these videos. Hopefully, you are aware of that and are following along because you need to have installed Elixir and Erlang. So yeah, for now, what you might ask, and what's this IO boots? Hello. We are going to explain that in this video. At least try. Let's quit this and to remove it. I'm going to use this chalkboard. So imagine you buy a coffee maker, and there is this recipient in here, and there is this button in here saying, I'm sorry for my drawing. I am, there's this big button over here. Make, sorry, coffee. Make coffee is a button. Sorry. And there is this thing, a dispenser, you know, like this, in which the coffee goes, the liquid, and then you have your uh, recipient ready. Okay, all right. So this is a happy person trying to drink coffee, and there is something over here. So this thing is not in the air. Also, there is this grain of grains of coffee, and this person has a bag of grains of coffee. And whenever this person wants to drink coffee, he comes here and put the grains over this place. Then he pressed this button, and there is an engine in here that you cannot see. It's inside the coffee maker and is in charge of taking your grains and delivering the product. So you buy this machine, okay, and it comes with some manual. Lots of products come with a manual, so you know how to use them. And you know, in the real, in our daily life, we use several tools and machines. I am not that acquainted with several machines. This is just one that I happen to know. But most machines, another color, most machines. Okay, my face is over here, so I'm not sure if you're seeing this happy person. Uh, most machines, I'm going to delete this now. Most machines, whether they are small or big machines, have what we call an input, an input, and deliver an output, the final result, you know, or our coffee maker. And this is our coffee maker. You put the grains of coffee into this machine and you get the coffee. Over here in Mexico, we eat tortillas and we people put some, I don't know, corn, some preprocessed corn mass, and we get from the machine, we get tortillas. Okay. What another machine do we know? Perhaps a driller. This is a trigger. You press this button, and there is a machinery over in here that makes this thing rotate, which is the output. So you can use it. We have now digital machines like calculators, like your favorite programs in your cell phone. Let me delete this again. You have this piece of software, a window, an interface, and you write some email. This is your input, and press some button, and the result is that your email is being sent to your friend. Now in Elixir, as a programmer, because these videos are about programming, you will need to write little machines, digital machines, digital tools that your users will have to, well, will want to use, hopefully. And in Elixir, as you know, as we already saw, this is a programming language. This is how you will communicate instructions to the computer. Okay? There are more parts involved, like the interpreter or the compiler, but the high level, you communicate instructions to the computer by using the Elixir programming language. Okay? Now, going back this, We delete it. We're going to create it again. I'm going to use this. Hello. In the world of Elixir, your little your functions, your tools, the little machines you want to deliver to your customers are stored in a in something called module. Think of this like in a box. Let me see if I can draw one. Okay. Okay, this is a box. And just as in the real life, you store your machines, for example, the coffee maker over here, some other device you might have, your cleaner, floor cleaner, in here too. In Elixir, you also need to store your functions inside this box called module. Module. Okay. And inside this module, you have stored your functions, your machines that receives input and gives you outputs. Okay, let's put something over here. This is puts. Okay, in Elixir, the the first part at the left of the expression, when you're using a function, this is a function. Look at this puts. It is inside the IO module. This is IO. This box is called module, and it has lots of little functions inside. Puts is one of them. Okay. Puts receives an input too, just like the coffee maker. What you give to puts is a message to your user, and your message goes between quotes. In future videos, we are going to see what's going on in here. And the result is that this message is printed into your customer's screen here and here. What other functions are inside module? Well, okay, I'm using nbean in here, but you can use whatever editor you like. I have some errors in there. We are not going to run this because we already did it. I'm going to open this interpreter, this tool called REPL, and write IO, which is our module. Remember IO puts, and I'm going to write this dot and press tab, and you see there are lots of functions over there. Ansib in red gets. I'm pressing the down arrow, and look at this. We have our puts function. Puts. We have our function here. Puts is inside module, inside the IO module. But you're saying some numbers also, and you might be wondering. So okay, this is puts, and this is puts again. This what are these numbers? And these numbers are called the arity of the function, and it is a way. It is the way in which we identify our functions. We identify functions in Elixir by their name, the name of the function, and its arity. For example, 1. What's the arity? It's the number of arguments that the functions receive. IO puts. Sorry if this is too slow to you. IO puts a message. So we're saying lots of terminology. So this is the arity because it's only one argument. So what's an argument? We are not getting mathy over here, okay? But you shouldn't be afraid of mathematics. So in here we have only one argument. Let's suppose we have another function, another module, another function. I don't know how you find this function, but let's suppose you find it. And there is an argument here, some x and some y. This has two arguments, okay? One, comma separated, and two. This is the second one. Okay, so this will be two. And let me grab this eraser. So the arity for this function will be two. And its entire identifier will be its name and its arity. I'm going to write the word arity so you can, just in case I'm not pronouncing it, most likely, right? Arity. Okay, that's the number of arguments the function takes. So you can define a function. Again, we are not getting mathematical in here. Think of a function as your little machine, some little machine that you're seeing in your life or in your digital life. This thing, most of the times you don't know how they operate inside, and most of the time you don't care how they operate inside. You just want to see results. These functions take some input from you. Okay, and give you some results. that you care a lot. Or we will call it output. So that's a function for our purposes. Its arity is the number of arguments that you're giving it, x, y, z, etc. Sometimes this thing will be empty and you are not giving anything and still requesting some output. And these functions, in the case of Elixir, are stored in these big boxes called modules. Module. The function lives inside the module. We will have several functions in here inside the module. Okay, so let's suppose someone is giving you money. I don't know what kind of world is that. Someone is giving you money to let us finish this. Okay, to write a function that takes two numbers as an input, and you need to give the sum of the two numbers. Then you will come here and let's call it math. Yes, and you will be asking yourself, so okay, so I need to provide this function to my customer, and I need to store this function in a module because that's how Elixir is, like specified. So how do I write a module? Then let me explain again. How do you tell a person, how do you say a person that you love that person? You write, I love you. There are many ways in which you can show your love to a person, but the written language is one of those ways. And this person will read this. This person will read your message, and it will be very happy. Let's suppose you instead write, you love. I see. This person is very smart. Perhaps it will infer that you love this person. Okay, but now it's making an effort to understand you. Let's suppose you write love, love you. I Okay, the person will understand you because you are loved too. So you are understanding each other. But the machines, the digital computer needs. Um, you need to be very precise when giving instructions in a programming language, and we are using Elixir. So how do you instruct the computer that you want to define a module is by writing. Okay, now I am this insert mode. This is MV def I'm going to write the entire thing, but then I will refer you to this dev module math you mm, blah blah. Well, let's not write anything in here. So let's try it. So this is how you define a module. The first letter is uppercase. So this is like you need to write this test module. These are called reserved keywords. Def module do end. This is how you define your box. Okay, this is the module you are defining. This is how the computer will understand your Elixir instructions. The module, the result of these instructions will be the creation of this module. So you can store functions inside. Okay, more functions. And you might be tempted to say, well, I don't like rules. I want to write, uh, uh, like dev, my module, my modules, mathy do, and I want to do it that way because I am like that. But then the computer, you know, won't create this module, and you will get an error. Sometimes it's good to get some errors so you can see the messages and learn from them. I'm going to delete this. So you need to adhere to some syntax. Okay, just like in our natural languages, we need to adhere to some structures uh, so we can understand each other. But we are very smart species, so we are very indulgent most of the time. But the digital computers needs to be very precise. Okay, now you have quite a progress in here, but now you need to still deliver the results to your customer and you need to define the sum function. And the way you do it, but first, I was about to show you this too. Remember at the beginning I was saying this? You don't have to memorize this. Test module man. Eventually you will memorize it. But if sometimes perhaps you are just writing and see this suggestion and you can use it. There's nothing wrong with that. The computer is this program, this NBIN or Visual Studio Code or your editor is assisting you and you accept the help. Now you write this math and you're done. Nothing wrong with that approach. It's all about making your customers happy. Now we need to define the function. Again, we are going to define the function sum. And you might be asking, oh my God, you're just typing and we are not understanding anything. Okay, let's go back here. And let's delete these arrows. Now inside your module, within the do and the end, this is your box. Do, where is this thing? Do And in here you will store your functions, and we will start by storing this little function sum2. I'm going to make a sum over here, and it says sum to remember what's the meaning of this, the arity. Well, again, how do you tell the computer using Elixir that you want to define this function and store it in the math module? Is, by writing it inside this definition that module do, and inside def sum. Um, and now the name of your arguments. You can. I remember some student many years ago asking me, "I'm going to use A and B," but I remember some student asking me, "I don't know how to name my variables. How should I call my variables?" What's a variable for starters? We're going to define that in a future video. But in here we are talking about arguments of functions, a number of arguments. The input of the functions. This is our input. These two, we need to do something with them. Okay? So going back to the question, how did you should call your arguments, your input? Well, I told the student name you can name it whatever you want, but make be sure to remind uh, what you're talking about in the future. We can put in here. Let me cow, and in here I'm going to with this. Star Trek, Star Trek. You can do that, but in the future, when you need to modify this program, um, we have defined some terms of in this. When you need to modify this source code, you will be in trouble because you will say, "Go, Star Trek, what's that?" Or not even you, maybe another person that you leave the company, you are retired, and someone has to deal with the things you have written, and that person will be, "Oh my God, what's this?" So make sure to be, you know, take good care of naming things, and it's sometimes it's challenging. So this is math related, we are using A and B. You can use X, Y. So this is our function definition. Again, def, the name of the function, its input, the reserved keyword do, then closing end. And what you are doing with this input is A plus B. Okay, I'm going to delete this. Def F, name of your function. The input, it could be several, but in here I'm just putting two. input imp. I'm not sure if you were able to see this, the receive keyword. Do, but this goes over here. Most likely you're not seeing this. So let me do this again. Sorry about this. Okay, this is the name and uh, your input between parentheses. Why? Because that's the way Elixir is specified. In the future, we will learn something about omitting parentheses, but it's good to have them. Do and so again, you will say, mm, you might be tempted to say, I want to write something here, something different. I want to be different. So I want to write fin, which is the Spanish word for N. And you're free to do that, but the Elixir is not specified like this. Okay, and you're done. You're done with your work. Now you need to see if this thing, your little machine inside the module, uh, do its job. Going to save and all right. Another thing, math should be uppercase, the name of the module, and this should be lowercase. There are more rules that you can dig in, take a deep dive once you see a video. Okay, so we have our file over here. Now I'm going to compile it. Okay, I just saw this command in our previous video. I'm going to compile math. But remember, we had a convention on this. I'm going to rename math xs to math x because exs is meant to be interpreted by convention, and this is meant to be compiled. So now I'm going to compile by using Elixir math.x. So this is another little machine. These are beautiful machines, the compilers. And it's taking your program, your source code, your file, its input, math.x is the input of this machine, and the output, we saw that already, is this what we call bytecode. This file is the output. Now we can start our REPL and use some. So how do we use put? By writing the name of the module, put back in time. Okay. Now we want to use match error. Okay. I'm not sure why it's not making suggestions about our function. Okay, let's use math, our module. And then you see math, the name of our module inside our file. Then the dot, and you can press tab Just as we explored the IO module, we can press tab to see how many functions we have in math. Since we only have one, and we get some back. Okay, I'm going to write 7 and 3. And then see. So this is our module. Def sum AB to A plus B and okay, so we need to provide these two. A, B. A, 7, 3, B. A plus B will be the processing of the input of your input, and its result will be 10. Okay, let's suppose someone, your user, comes around and do something like this. Math sum 5, and we will get an error. Function math sum, and look, 1, the arity is undefined because you are given just one. One is undefined or private. Did you mean sum 2? And then your user will say, oh, okay, I meant to say this. Let's suppose another of your users do this. Sum 5, look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's arity. Its name and its arity. Okay. And again, let's give it yourself. Well, we have a way to request for information for functions. For example, let's suppose you want to read the help associated with the puts function or the manual, if you will, of the products. Just like when you buy your coffee maker, to write help, and I would and look at this help. I outputs. Can we write help? No, we can't. So okay. Look at this. We have this instruction under REPL. We have this instruction help I outputs, and the REPL will define this. Will show us this documentation. And it says writes item to the given device, similar to write to, but adds a new line at the end. By default, the device is standard output. It returns okay if it succeeds. And there are some examples. Now, will our function sum give us help? No, there's nothing in here. Math sum. So, in order to avoid your users making trial and errors, to see which Elixir might help, but in order to give them ways to avoid trial and error, which is not wrong, it's okay to experiment. You need to provide the manual for your little functions. And how do you do that? Let's finish this. I'm going to remove the. It's not necessary, but I'm going to remove it anyway. Then, and I'm going to, open this once more. And if you want to provide documentation, okay, I did have to take a little break. But yeah, we were talking about modules and functions and how do you provide documentation for your functions and modules. Let's start with the function. The instruction, the syntax related is doc. And again, you're not alone. You have these suggestions. Doc, okay, zoom, text the numbers and gives you its addition. Example, another example. No, and the result will be 10. And in the case of the module is module dog. But remember, you have these things generated for you, so I would use it. Look at this. You just need to write m dog, okay? But since you're learning Elixir, you might want to build memory muscle and write add module, which is this add module doc and the three quotes. Remember, for puts was only two, I mean one, and for this is three. We are going to explain all of these related to the things inside quotes. Related to things inside quotes. So this module gives you, provides you several functions related to basic math. I'm going to remove this being compile it, open this thing, the REPL, and asking for help. And now you have, now let's print the help for IO puts, see the, to compare them. You see, some takes two numbers and gives you its addition. Now we have assistant for your customer. Okay. Now homework, because you need to, in order to learn, you need to write code. Your homework will be to write two functions. Define multiply. We need to define multiply 3, which how I hope you are guessing now how many arguments this function is taking. You should be able to know that, and it gives you the product of the input. Okay, you need to infer how many inputs, how many arguments you will have in this function multiply, and what you need to do is perform the product of the input. Okay, now it's all about it's all that's all that I want. That's all I going to tell you. Okay, multiply takes an input that you're able to see that in the name, and you need to perform the product of the input. And define subtract 2, which perform the subtraction of the input. You decide which one to subtract, if the first from the second or the second from the first. It's up to you. I mean, it's not necessary to follow some order. And if you want, if you feel adventurous, provide some documentation, just like we did for some. Uh, how do you know if, how you will know if your functions are correct? Well, in the future, we will be taking a look at testing, and for now, you just manually test your functions just like we did. Okay, subtract and multiply. I'm going to delete it. Delete them. And now you might be wondering, well, you are too slow, and your videos are right with, delayed. You take some weeks to deliver one video and the other. So, okay, these videos are taken from the documentation available in the Elixir website. That my invitation to you, just as I did in at the beginning when installing this, is for you to come here. This will be in the video description. Just read the documentation. It's all here. You know, all the things that they want you to know, the creators of Elixir, are here. If you're feeling more adventurous, you can take a look at the source code, but this is like a lot to read. It's all here, writing documentation, comprehensions, module attributes. Okay, and what I'm doing is trying to provide examples, is trying to make some elaborations, and uh, trying to, like giving you ways to be confident because these videos are for non-programmers. So I take my time to explain functions and modules. An hour is like a lot, but it's for people that is their first encounter with functions. So hopefully you will be able to define these two functions, and we will show the solution in our next video. Okay. But if you are like very eager to keep learning about Elixir, this is the way to go. List, tuples, case, if. Okay, have fun, and like I show you this because perhaps you will need to see this operator. That we just saw in other videos. Okay, thank you very much. See you in our next video, hopefully sooner. Bye, have a good night.